Welcome to the Gentle Ledger. Today is Friday, January 23rd, 2026, and the market feels like the last page in a long, winding chapter, subdued, a bit fragmented, and gently reflective. Now let's turn softly to the U.S. indexes, where this week ended on a mixed note after volatility earlier in the week gave way to cautious positioning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at 49,098.71, down minus 0.58% on the day as broad participation softened amid profit-taking. The Nasdaq Composite rose about plus 0.28% to 23,501.24, supported by selective strength in tech shares. The S&P 500 edged up slightly, finishing at 6,915.61, a modest plus 0.10% gain that underscored a tentative balance between buyers and sellers. Meanwhile, the Russell 2000 retreated more noticeably, sliding roughly minus 1.8% to 2,669.16, as small-cap stocks felt the brunt of end-of-week rotation and sector divergence. For the week overall, the major indexes posted mixed results, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq down slightly and the Russell 2000 marginally weaker. Gently moving into the corporate highlights, individual names told a nuanced story through clear percentage moves. Intel shares fell sharply after earnings and a softer outlook, dropping about minus 17% and weighing on chip sector sentiment. Goldman Sachs and Caterpillar also underperformed, each down roughly minus 3.5% to minus 4%, reflecting broader caution in financials and industrials during the session. In contrast, Microsoft climbed near plus 4%, leading gains among large tech names, and Amazon advanced by about plus 2%, supported by renewed discretionary interest. Among other notable moves, Fortinet surged roughly plus 7% on an upgrade, while Rambus reversed earlier gains and dipped about minus 8%, illustrating the tug-of-war between technical momentum and earnings reactions. S&P Global Incorporated declined about minus 1.2%. Outpacing some peers even as the broader market stayed mixed. These corporate moves reminded markets that individual stories can meaningfully shape the day even when broad indexes are calm. Overseas, in Asia and Europe, the tone carried across gently with a blend of modest shifts and guarded sentiment. Japan's Nikkei 225 rose about 0.3%, reflecting resilience after earlier regional sell-offs, while other Asian indexes held narrow ranges amid ongoing local policy considerations. European benchmarks such as the FTSE 100, DAX, and StoxX 600 demonstrated mild softness or near-flat finishes, echoing U.S. caution and firming positions into the weekend. Across markets, the global mood felt less reactive than earlier this week, trading volatility for consolidation as traders reassess narratives around tariffs, earnings, and macro indicators. In commodities and bonds, the story continued beneath the surface of equity calm. Gold remained strong, trading near record levels as investors maintained safe haven exposures amid lingering geopolitical and macro uncertainties. Oil prices were mixed but generally stable, with both Brent and WTI hovering in familiar mid-$60 ranges, balancing supply considerations with softened risk sentiment. In fixed income, U.S. 10-year Treasury yields edged slightly lower as demand for duration modestly outpaced risk asset inflows, reflecting a gentle tug between growth expectations and safety preferences. Turning now to the newer corners of finance, in crypto land the tone was subdued and in sync with broader markets. Bitcoin traded near the high $80,000 to low $90,000 range, holding modestly lower on the session as risk preferences softened, and Ethereum moved in a similar cautious pattern. Neither token experienced dramatic moves, suggesting that crypto assets remained tethered to overall market sentiment rather than diverging sharply. As the week draws to a close, let's rest in the reflective summary and outlook. Today's session felt like a thoughtful exhale. Markets digesting news flow from earlier in the week, indexes settling into mixed but narrow ranges, and investors balancing earnings reactions with broader macro signals. It was a reminder that calm doesn't always mean certainty, but rather an opportunity to observe, interpret, and prepare for what comes next. Tonight, let this gentle cadence accompany you into the weekend, unhurried, informed, and quietly grounded. Good night.